From the very first frame of Dune, you can feel the director's tightening grip on the audience, dragging us deeper into the desert, not as passive spectators, but as complicit witnesses to a prophecy spiraling out of control. This isn't just a sequel, it's the second movement of an operatic tragedy, where every grain of sand carries the weight of fate. Denis, the director, doesn't waste time with clumsy recaps. Instead, he hurls us into the immediacy of Paul Atreides' exile, where survival is no longer about defeating enemies, but about becoming something far more dangerous, a symbol. The brilliance of Dune Part 2 lies in how it weaponizes silence in scale. Scenes stretch into moments of unbearable stillness, the wind sweeping across Arrakis as if the planet itself is holding its breath, waiting to see if Paul will rise as savior or fall as tyrant. Timothée Chalamet plays Paul with a dangerous restraint. His transformation is not a sudden leap, but a slow, almost reluctant submission to the myth others demand he fulfill. Unlike previous roles that Timothée has played in, you can see the conflict in his eyes as he treads the line between justice and fanaticism. Zendaya's character becomes the audience's anchor, fierce, skeptical, and unwilling to kneel before the prophecy, and her dynamic with Paul is electric precisely because it resists the fantasy of destiny, forcing the film to grapple with love that exists under the pressure of political inevitability. Forcing the film to grapple with love that exists under the shadow of political inevitability. Denis understands that Dune is as much about ecology as it is about empire. About the freemen are not simply warriors in a holy war, but stewards of an unforgiving land that shapes every facet of their culture. The sandstorms, shot with biblical references, are not just creatures, but avatars of Arrakis itself. And every appearance is a reminder that nature is the true power here, dwarfing even the ambitions of men. Technically, the film is a masterclass. Fraser's cinematography finds beauty in the desolate, framing the desert like a cathedral of light and shadow, while Hans Zimmer's score abandons the conventional in favour of something primal, almost alien, as if the music itself was breathing the dry air of Arrakis. But what makes Dune Part 2 linger long after the credits isn't the spectacle, it's the creeping horror of inevitability. Denis refuses to romanticize Paul's rise. Each victory feels tainted, each step towards power leaves a shadow across his soul, until the final moments force you to confront the uncomfortable truth. The Messiah you cheered for is no longer the boy you met in Part 1. By the end, you realize Denis has pulled off something rare in blockbuster cinema. He's made a film that operates as both a sweeping epic and deeply intimate character study. A story where the real war isn't for control of a planet, but for the soul of man destined to rule it. And as you sit there watching the last shot fade into darkness, you're left with a question that gnaws at you. Is this the hero we were promised, or the tyrant we were warned about? The ambiguity of the genius of Dune is why years from now, we may look back and realise this wasn't just the best sci-fi film of the decade. It was the moment the genre itself shifted.